True Gamer here with another episode. Okay boys and girls, this is the first ever PlayStation 1 box, and inside will be the console itself. Now this is the front, and this is about, I think I got this in 2011, so this is about nearly a decade old, and I've got to say I've kept this in immaculate condition. Just look at that. Just check that out, guys. So basically I'm just going to show the first ever designs of all the PlayStations from 1 to 4. I'm not going to bother with 5 yet because it hasn't arrived as we speak right now. Just check out that box one more time, the Japanese version of the PlayStation 1. Look at that, I've even got all this fantastic manuals still. All the fancy paperwork there, guys. Black and white print. And what is it actually? It's the... well, it's all in Japanese, isn't it? I guess this is a setup guide. And then we're going to have our warranty and safety manuals there. I've got an extra leaflet probably on how you can win some extra PlayStation goodies back in when it was launched, I think 95 in Japan. Let me start with the controllers. Now, when this first arrived on the scene, guys, you didn't have a DualShock, you just had a controller without the analog sticks, looking like so. And then later on they brought out the DualShock, and this was the first DualShock ever made by the Sony Entertainment Services there. Okay, so look guys, the first ever DualShock. And I've got to say guys, this was a groundbreaking moment for PlayStation. It definitely changed the game with these analog sticks being implemented on your controller. Yeah. Still feels solid as well. Okay, let's take out a look at what the first ever PlayStation ever looked like. There we have it. This was the first ever PlayStation. And I've got to say, at the time the design was very unique, very glamorous. And there's the inputs at the back. There you would have your power supply. That was just a normal two pin power cord there. There is where you would have your connection to the TV, and we have a serial input and out, and I can't remember what that was for. This is what the lead would have looked like, guys, what you would have put into your TV, which you would have put into the back of the PlayStation 1 like so. And there you could have attached it to a SCART converter, or you could have just put it in manually to your TV with these leads here. So yeah, we have 3 inputs at the back there, and yeah, that's about it. This was the PlayStation 1, and that's the eject. That's how you, this is where you would have put your disc in, and that's the power button, and that's the reset button to reset. Once you press reset, you go straight back to the home screen there. Yes, boys and girls, and obviously in the front is the input for your DualShocks or your non-DualShock. That's it, PlayStation 1. Okay, next up guys, we have the record-breaking PS2, and I think to this day now this has sold the most units. Okay, so here's the PS2, and I think this was the very first box, but nevertheless, if it's not the very first box, definitely the very first design which is going to be inside of here. So I'll just give you a quick glimpse of the box here on the front. See the iconic PlayStation 2 there, and then we have on the back, shows you some games which was going to be released at the time or going to be released in the future, and yeah, that's about it. So let's take a deeper look inside. Unlike my PlayStation 1, the box isn't in the greatest condition, but it could have been worse. Okay, you see here we got one of the PlayStation 1 games. And for every PlayStation up until the PlayStation 4, so 1, 2 and 3, 2 and 3 was backward compatible with the PlayStation 1. So no matter what version you got of it, you could have played the PlayStation 1. Oh, I've even got some instruction manuals there. I never knew I had, but I've got some for the PlayStation 2 as well, and that's what the instruction manual would have looked like. In depth on how to set up your PlayStation 2. Once again, the system is well taken care of. So I'm going to start with a DualShock for each of my console exhibition. So there guys was the DualShock 2. This was the second design of the DualShock. This is pretty solid as well. I used to like these. This is basically brand new. So yeah, let me take a quick look at it. So the DualShock 2, and in print there you can actually see that it says DualShock 2. So it's not a knockoff. This is the original version of the DualShock 2. And if you must know, you want to see the original box, how it came. Genuine there. That's how they used to package the DualShock 2s. And once again, it used to take these power cord leads with the 2-pin, which these are ones they used to put in. You could use them for your ghetto blasters in the late 80s, 90s, and also radios and stuff like that. So this is the kind of that used to power the PlayStation 2. And as we see here, we have the PlayStation 2 itself. That's the top of it, that's the logo, how it used to be printed on the top of the console. And around the front and the sides and all that, it's got these kind of grill effects, which I used to like. Then we have the lovely colourful PlayStation logo, which I used to love as well. And then here guys, you had USB ports. for all sorts of reasons. And the front, we have our DualShock 2 inputs, and here we have some IOs here. At the back we have the power input, and then there we have a toggle switch to turn it on and off, and that's for the TV. We got our AVI ports there, and then we've also got digital out optical input, and then we also have an expansion bay, which I can't remember what they used to use this for, but answers in the comment section. I think you can hook up other peripherals to this. Then we also have a fan here, vents as well. So yeah, this was the PS2 in all of its glory. Okay, next up guys, we have one of my favourite machines, and this is the PlayStation 3, and this is the original box, and this is the first ever kind of box design they ever brought to the market, to all retailers back in the day, and it was the 60 gig. Now later on they brought out different versions of this, but this is the first ever PlayStation 3 design they ever made. And yeah, it was the 60 gig, and this was compatible where you can play PlayStation 2 games. Now it played PlayStation 1 games as well, but so did the PlayStation 2. And the other versions of this, what they brought out after this, the 40 gig, the 80 gig, used to play they could still play PlayStation 1 games, but the PlayStation 2 games was no longer available. So yeah, this is what the box looks like on the front, guys. You see we have the PlayStation logo, and they changed the logo as well on the PlayStation 2. It was no longer, I mean, they changed the logo on the PlayStation 3. They no longer just had PS so and so, they had the full yeah, and as you see, they've also changed the logo. It's no longer just the 3-letter syllables. They've got the whole wording of PlayStation, and then with the 3 at the end. So they changed their logo design for this particular model. Yeah, just will show you on the back there, we're showing you exactly what this has to offer. It said built-in Blu-ray, true 1080p, motion sensitive 6-axis, built-in hard drive. Yeah, and for the first time, guys, they've had a built-in hard drive, and built-in Wi-Fi to connect to your broadband. But yeah, this is what the first original PlayStation 3 box ever looked like. Just feast your eyes on that, boys and girls. Now, before I go on, I'd just like to say this was another great accessory to own back in the day. And what this is, if you play your PlayStation 2 games and you've had some saves you wanted to carry over, this little unit here would allow you to insert your memory card, and you can play all your saved games on your PlayStation 3. So you would have put your memory card in like so. There was a cable at the back, the same one that charges your DualShock. Now from there you just connect it with a USB, and all your saved games from all your PS2 software would appear on the X media bar, which they used to call it back in the day. Yeah, so this was called a memory card adapter, which allowed you to transfer all your save games from your PS2 straight to your PS3. The PlayStation 3 was the first console to implement the HDMI built-in port into this. So you can now use one of these bad boys, and this was a HDMI cable. So now you can play your games in some quality HD resolution, which was never heard of, and it was fresh to the scene at the time when this was designed and brought to the industry. So yeah, it wasn't the PlayStation 4, which many think it was, no, because they also had a AVI out for those who had the CRT still. So yeah, this was one of the first consoles to introduce the HDMI port. So now let's take a look at the actual console itself. But before then, let me just show you exactly what actually came in this box. I didn't have the instruction manuals this time around, unfortunately, but I did have a bonus here. I had the original, it's like a PlayStation 3 software disc. This was version 2.0, guys, look at that. If you look at the versions now, if you look on your PS3 now, you see how many versions ago 2.0 was actually, when it actually existed. So there you have it. At least we have a little bit of memorabilia. And this was the DualShock 3. This is what it looks like. Very light compared to the other DualShocks. It's definitely much more lighter. And I still prefer the DualShock 2 out of all the DualShocks, how it feels. But yeah, there's the DualShock 3. Now this did originally come with a 6-axis motion controller. And now what am I talking about? This is the 6-axis DualShock 3, guys. Something changed along the way. I cannot remember whether they took the rumble out or something. But with the 6-axis you could use the motion, like control it by the movement. But they changed it down the line, and I can't remember what they changed it to. Let me check something. I've got another one here. I want to see if this is a 6-axis. Oh, no. No. This is the first ever version of the controller, and it wasn't a DualShock. They just used to call it the 6-axis. Now this is 10 times lighter than the original DualShock 3-axis, 6-axis controller. So it still had the 6-axis where you had the motion control, but for some reason, whether this didn't have rumble or something like that, so it was just called the 6-axis back in the day. But this is the very first PS3 controller that was packed with your PS3 from day one. So yeah, Big difference, big difference. And this is very light, but this is even lighter, the 6-axis. So as you see now, later on they brought out the DualShock 3 6-axis, and this was just plain and simple called the 6-axis. So yeah, they changed their design along the way on the DualShocks as well. And even a little bonus there, used to light up whether you were player 1 or player 2. Used to have little lights on the left there. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This was the first ever PS3 controller, just labelled the 6-axis. Now let's take a look at the actual mean machine itself. Which I think this is one of the best consoles they've ever managed to manifest. And this was the PlayStation 3, and this is what it looked like. And this was the piano black, and everything about this was reflectable, and it was an absolute fingerprint magnet, as they say. This is how you can identify that you've got the one that plays the PS2. If this flap can open up, because the other versions you won't be able to open up this flap. Now in this flap you're going to have some inputs, so you see it there, and the inputs were a CF input and SD, mini SD, and I think the Pro, call it the Pro there, I think that's for cameras and stuff. But there you go, you have some inputs where you can insert an SD card and take images and videos or whatnot, and also it's a camera, you can connect your camera up there. So that's how you can distinguish whether you have the right version of the console. If that flap opens up and you see input and you see ports inside of here. There is where you put your Blu-ray disc. Once again we have the nice colourful PlayStation logo, or shall I say the PlayStation symbol. There you go. There you go. Giving off a shiny effect there, which I absolutely love. And on the back we have a port for our power supply. We also have a toggle switch to turn on and off. And we have optical port, we have an infinite port, and we also have a HDMI port and a standard AVI port. All at the back there, along with some nice looking vents. And that's about it. This was the very first time we had our kettle looking power supply leads. And the reason why they call this a kettle lead is because in England this is what all kettles used to use. Not so much now, but back in them days And one thing guys I forgot to mention, third generation of PlayStations, PlayStation 3. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention guys is for the PlayStation 3 we no longer have a physical button to turn it on and off. Here we have a finger sensor kind of button, so you can just rub your finger across the power button that I'm pointing to now and it will turn on. You're going to see this turn green. There you go. And the same thing for the eject button. You didn't have a physical button to press, it was more like a finger sensor. You can just rub your finger across it and it will detect, it will sense your finger action. So there you go guys. And to turn it off you just hold it and it will just start turning off there. So yeah, they ditched the physical button and they got this kind of sensor to turn things on and off. Okay guys, last but not least we have the current gen, and this is the PlayStation 4. Although this generation is coming to a close, and this is the 8th gen version of consoles. And you get the drift, the others were the 7th, 6th and so on. But this is the 8th gen and it's the PlayStation 4. Now unfortunately I haven't got the original PlayStation 4 box in, but I have got the original design of the PlayStation 4, which is inside of here. Although it is the limited edition Destiny version of it, it's still the original shape and the original version of the console. But I haven't got none around me. All I've got is this limited edition Destiny, which before the 500mm PlayStation 4 Pro came out, this was by far my best looking console and my favourite looking console that I owned. Now if we was to go and judge it on just the base PlayStation 4s, well this is the only base PlayStation 4 that I have, I would say this is definitely the sexiest base PlayStation 4 anyone could own, and that is the limited edition of the Destiny Taken King. When they first arrived on the scene, I absolutely love this console, and I would never ever sell it. This is an antique guys, absolute masterpiece. But this is what the box looks like. Okay, now I haven't got an original version of a PlayStation 4 DualShock, but I do have this limited edition God of War. But this is what the DualShock 4s look like. As you see now, they've improved it with a touchpad on the front, and further along the line this never used to light up, but then the touchpad, we started getting a LED light on the top of the touchpad. But originally we just had the light bar. That's what they call this, the light sensor bar or something. Yeah. So this, when the DualShock's on, the LED lights light up. And now I'm going to show you guys the console itself in all of its destiny glory. But at least you can get the drift on what the original shape would have looked like. And of course, so the only manuals I'm missing is the ones for the PlayStation 3, because for the original PlayStation 4, as you see, I've got the quick starter guide, which is sealed, which is a great asset to have in my collection for a collector. So this is sealed, guys, the quick starter guide, and it also has the safety and the guarantee manual inside of here. So yeah, happy with that. And also with this Destiny edition came some lithographs, which I'm not going to go into detail with now because it's not about that. Yeah, that's about it. So let me just show you the shape of the console. So just picture this in all black, or even I think they brought out an all white. So this was the original shape of the PS4, guys and girls. And on the top of the console there was a see-through strip, which obviously lighted up in some blue colouring when the console's powered up. Well, I think it was a see-through version of it, I don't know. Got a little bit of, shouldn't be there. In other words, but overall this is in pretty good condition. I have used it quite a bit. There's not many scuffs and whatnot on there. So this is what the original shape would have looked like, guys. So on the front there you would have had the PS4 logo and the strip continuing down there, and yep, they're all lights and they light up once the console is fired up. And on the original colouring of this, which came in all black, you wouldn't see Destiny there, but you would still get the PS4 symbol there. And on the back we have not a kettle lead, but they went back and reverted back to the 2-pin cord. So we had the slim power supply there, and then we had the camera, because this came with a camera, but it was yeah, it was an add-on. You had to buy it separate, I think. And so we had the camera input, we had the HDMI input, we had the Ethernet cable input, and we had our optical input there. So we had our optical audio input as well. Yeah, so it was all on the back, along with a handful of vents there to keep the console nice and cool. And on the front we had our power on and our eject button. I might have got it the wrong way around, but that's where you would enter the Blu-ray disc. And we've got 2 USB ports on the front, and we have none on the back. That came along with the Pro. So yeah, there we have it. This is how the original shape would have looked like for the PS4. And there's no other extra cables. Just we have our dual shock there. So yeah, guys. This was the original design of the PlayStation 4. And I've got to say, it did look rather pretty. Now, before I go, I'm just going to give you a brief idea of what the games actually looked like for each of the consoles, the box arts and stuff. Okay, for the PlayStation 1, this is what the box arts would have looked like, just like so. And there's the back, and this is a gem game here, a very rare ISS, which later on evolved into Pro Evolution Soccer. And as you see, these are what the manuals would look like. Back then we used to get some juicy manual booklets. And then we have the disc. Let me put it in here and just show you the top of the disc, what they used to look like. So that's the PlayStation 1, guys. And for the PlayStation 2, this is what the box art looked like. Front and the back. Another great game, Tarzan. Once again, we've got our very unique booklet there, instruction manual of the game, which we don't get anymore. Got rid of it when they brought the PS4 to the party. But there you have it. That's what the PS2 games would have looked like. And then we have the great iconic MotorStorm, which was one of my first games I ever had. Works wicked with the 6-axis controller. But there's what you would have got. There's not much you can see with all these stickerings everywhere from CEX, which is horrible, because when you do peel them off, you can't get it all off. You're left with a whole heap of sticky bits everywhere. So I just left it on. So there's the back. Once again, we have our honourable instruction manuals, which we used to get, which I do like picking up because we just don't get them anymore. It's great to have a feel of how it used to be. Some wonderful instruction manuals. I hope they bring it back for the PS5, man. Some nice physical instruction manuals there. And this is what the disc would have looked like for the MotorStorm. It's not the original one, unfortunately, it's the Platinum version, which I never knew. I've got so many PS3 games, I had to pick that one up. And this is, last but not least, the PlayStation 4 box arts and the boxes, how they used to look. And as you see it there for Street Fighter, it has what the PlayStation is very good at. It says PlayStation exclusive, which Microsoft needs to learn a lesson from on how to make. So as we go inside, no, this is not any instruction manuals, they got rid of that now. So you just have your plain disc. So yeah, I just wanted to add that little touch to this video, give everyone an idea of what the games would have looked like if you was to purchase one from a retailer back in the day. So that's about it. Okay, I just want to add, when they launched the PS4, they also changed the logo. So instead of the word PlayStation and then the number, they reverted back to the abbreviation of the word PlayStation, and now it was just 3 syllables again, where you just had the PS and then the 4. So the same as how it used to be on the PlayStation 2. So yeah, they decided to change the logo. They probably thought it was a bit too long. We've had our glimpse of all the PlayStations original designs ever made. Now I'm going to do a video and show you all my PS4 Pro collections, because I have got quite a few, but that will be, you know, up and coming video hopefully pretty soon. So yeah, keep a lookout for that future video coming very soon. Okay guys, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Even better, subscribe. Till next time, see ya.